Hello, welcome back to Girl Talk. I'm so excited to be here with y'all today for another episode. And in this episode today, we're going to be talking about habits for living authentically and showing up authentically each and every day in your life. And if you watched last episode, if you listened and tuned into last episode, then you will know why talking about authenticity and living authentically is my favorite topic of all time. Definitely go back and check that episode out if you haven't already. We're going to be jumping right into it today. So, as you all know, I am obsessed with living authentically because I lived so many years of my life inauthentically and just living a life that someone else basically told me I should live, and someone else not being one specific person, but lots of people, girl. Anyways, now that I show up authentically in my life each and every day and make it a point to live out my authenticity and what is true for me each and every day, there are certain habits that I have recognized that really help me to remain within my authentic nature and live in life that is authentic to me and for me. So, one of those habits is journaling. You guessed it. Yes, it is journaling. If you have been watching Girl Talk for a little bit of time now, you've probably heard me talk about journaling, especially in relation to showing up authentically and living within your authentic nature. Journaling is literally by far the best way, and honestly the easiest, the cheapest, the fastest way to tap in and tune in to your authentic nature to show up authentically in life each and every day. Journaling is just a conversation with yourself. I also journal with God, so I have conversations with God via journaling, so you can do that as well. But journaling is a conversation with yourself. And so it allows you to really get your thoughts out of your head, see them on paper, and say, okay, what is really going on here? What needs to be sorted out? Maybe this needs to go over there. Maybe that needs to go over here. And when you can do that with your thoughts, and whatever is coming up for you at that time, then you are able to say, oh, this is not what I want. This is not who I am. This is not where I want to go. That much more easier. It's a little difficult to say those things like, oh, this is not what I want. This is not who I am. This is not where I want to go. When you are trying to sort things out just in your head and you don't have anything, pen to paper, or you don't have anything visually to see. And I spent a lot of time in my life trying to do that of like, oh, maybe this is what I want. Oh, maybe this is where I want to go. And this is who I want to be. And it was a runaround, girl. Okay? It was a runaround. It was a lot of frivolous time being spent and not enough action being made. So when I really started taking journaling seriously, and when I really started journaling so that I could truly unearth who I am authentically, I started stepping into my authentic self, stepping into my authentic nature by leaps and bounds, girl. By leaps and bounds, okay? And it was fairly easy because I was able to see and say like, oh, actually, like, you know what? This isn't who I want to be. I don't want to be someone who goes to a corporate job, who, just works 9 to 5 and has a happy dappy life and goes on vacation, a few times a year. Like, oh, that's not who I want to be. Whoopsies. So it allows you to see those things that much more easier. Another thing that I have a habit of doing is solo moments, okay? And this isn't just a relation. I say moments because I know a lot of people will talk about going on solo dates. And even in last week's episode, I talked about having intentional isolation. But solo moments, you have to make having solo moments a habit. And I preach solo moments because it is really difficult to unearth who you are authentically, what is true for you authentically, when you are constantly surrounding yourself with others. And I really began to see this manifest in my life when I started intentionally spending my birthdays alone. And I really begun to realize, oh, like, this is like whatever I wanted to do was available to me. I could do exactly what I wanted to do. Not what anyone else said, like, might be a good time, might be a fun time for a birthday. And it literally just unlocked a door of, oh my goodness, I have been doing things that I don't even like doing on my birthday. Literally. And so now basically every year I do intentionally spend my birthday alone, but I also have the habit, I've made it a habit to have solo moments so that I can know what I like without any other interruption of someone else saying what they might like. And a lot of times we can think that, like, no one else's likes or dislikes are going to interfere or affect what we like or dislike or where we want to go or not want to go, but they are. They are. If you are a kind and considerate person, you better believe that at some point you are compromising when you involve yourself with others. And that's okay. There are times where I do know I have to compromise. If I want to have friends and community to a certain level, I'm going to have to make some compromise because it's not going to be all about me. It's going to be about me and the friend group and me and the community. But when I'm in a solo moment, baby, it's all about me, okay? It's all about me. And you get to be selfish in that moment. You get to truly uncover what you like, what you want, where you want to go without any interruption or any other compromise of what someone else might like, what might be good for them and the such. Another thing that I have made a habit so that I can truly show up and live in my authentic nature on a daily basis is exposure to new. You have to expose yourself to new things. You must absolutely make it a habit to diligently expose yourself to new things, new places, new people, everything new constantly. And maybe not constantly is not the right word. That sounds a little dramatic, but I mean, I constantly expose myself to new things. I like a little challenge, girl. But seriously, and exposure to new doesn't mean like, oh, you got to go bungee jumping or you have to go to a new country or something like that. Like, those are all great things, and if those are things that you want to do and you haven't done yet, definitely go do them. But exposure to new can simply be, going a different route to work, going to a different grocery store in a different neighborhood. Like, literally, that's exposure to new. So it doesn't have to be something that's this wild, crazy thing that's new. But the more you expose yourself to new things, the more you will learn what you don't like and what you do like, because this is my motto in life. I don't know if I don't like if I never did it. Okay? I do not know if I don't like it if I've never did it. And there are so many things that I've said like, oh, I don't like that, and I've never did it. So I'm committed to doing new things, trying new foods, talking to new people, trying on new beliefs, all of that. Try new things, try new thoughts, go new places, talk to new people. All of that, because you don't know what you don't know. Like, truly, I used to hate that saying, but it's so true. Like, you literally don't know what you don't know, okay? Lastly, another habit that I have so that I can truly show up as my authentic self on a daily basis is assessing my boundaries. So this is really important because a lot of times, again, if you are a kind, considerate person and you enjoy being around others and building community and things like that, it sometimes can interfere with what boundaries you have set for yourself. And when it comes to being authentic, you do need to have boundaries. You do need to say, no, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, this is who I am. And not only you need to have boundaries with others, but you need to have boundaries with yourself. And so in order to live authentically, you have to assess your boundaries on a regular basis, because boundaries move. I may have had a boundary with how I was going to show up in relationships, 3 years ago. And now I've evolved and I've transformed as a person, and that boundary no longer applies. But if I'm still trying to uphold it, it might be holding me back from what's really available to me, from what my next level is. And so if I'm committed to living and showing up as my authentic self on a daily basis, I need to assess my boundaries on a daily basis. Okay, maybe not daily basis. That's a little extreme, girl. If you like constantly assessing your boundaries and changing them on a daily basis, like, don't be doing that, girl. Don't do that. Like, that means that you aren't sure of yourself. But anyways, we're not talking about that today. We can have a different conversation, different day about boundaries, okay? If y'all want me to talk about how to set boundaries, best practices, and all of that, let me know in the comments, because I went through a whole boundary setting phase of life. I can help you out, girl. But anyways, assess your boundaries on a regular basis. I try to assess my boundaries at least like every few months. I would say at least every 4 to 6 months, I assess and say like, oh, like, is this something that I still need to be upholding? And is this something that still works for me? is this something that is still true for me? Y'all know I love that question, girl. Is this true for me? Okay. So you need to be asking yourself that, specifically with your boundaries, every like 4 to 6 months, every few months at least. Because again, if it's no longer true for you, that means you are no longer living within your authentic self. And if you're not living in your authentic self, there's some confusion going on. And we don't want to live confused, girl. We do not want to live confused, okay? So let me know in the comments which habit that you're going to be implementing into your life. And let me know which habits that you have in your life that help you to remain in your authentic nature and to show up every single day authentically as your authentic self. Authentically as your authentic self. Y'all know what I mean, okay? But seriously, let me know in the comments. I want to hear from y'all if you have any questions about how to be more authentic, how you can be more authentic. Let me know in the comments or send me a DM. My socials are in the description box. You can DM me on LinkedIn or on Instagram. Make sure you're following me on LinkedIn and on Instagram. If y'all are not following me, you are really missing out. You are really missing out if you're not following me. So definitely get on that right now. As always, I appreciate you. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. You will hear from me in the next episode if you are listening to this on the podcast. I love you, and I will talk to you later.